How quick can I close on a piece of property, man? Stay tuned and we'll answer that question.
You better get fired up.
I just got the coolest call, man. Literally before I started this video, my phone started ringing and it was a video call, and I picked it up, and it was my good friend Benny Fisher from Big Fish Roofing up in Pennsylvania. And he actually sold that company. Now he does business consultant, and he's got consulting folks down here that he helps in Port St. Lucie. And we know each other, right? We connect with each other. And so he's in the Cayman Islands with his young son, who's got to be maybe 10, 11 years old. And he said, who should we call? Let's call Joe Rosen. And they video called me. I had to go because I got to come for you people, and answer this amazing question. I don't know if it's an amazing question, but it's certainly a helpful question. But I just thought it was a really cool little story I had to share with you guys. So the question is, how quickly can I close on a piece of property? It's kind of a loaded question. There's no black and white answer, but I'm going to give you my experience and I'll give you the norms, right? With a single family home, that's going to be the most normal purchase there is. It's going to depend on really a couple things. If you're cash, all we're really waiting on is title, right? Are you going to get a survey or not? It's up to you if you're cash, right? If you're getting funding, you have to, but if you're not, there's really a lot less rules. Are you getting an appraisal or not? Most people paying cash, they don't really care what a bank thinks their property's worth. So they don't want to pay an appraiser. So you can usually close in 10 days, 14 days, somewhere in there. It's pretty common. It is also common to close in 30 days, right? Because it's not just what can the buyer, or I should say, how quickly can the buyer perform? That's not the only question. The other question is, how quickly can the sellers get all their stuff out conveniently, right? Comfortably. And for a lot of sellers, they're going to want 30 days, 45 days, something like that. However, if it's a vacant house or an extremely motivated seller, 10 to 14 days might just work, right? It might work. So cash, 10 to 14 days. Now, the majority of people are not going to be cash. They're going to have some type of funding. And now I'm going to break you down into kind of two different categories, right? You've got lenders who put you into underwriting before you even go under contract, right? So they're looking at all your documents, not just the lender, who's always, hopefully, my gosh, going to look at your documents before they give you a pre-approval letter, right? They're going to look at your taxes, your income, your debt, your credit score, all that good stuff. And they're going to say, yes, we can give you a loan, or no, we can't give you a loan. And if we can give you a loan, here's the rate, here are the fees, here are the terms, blah, blah, blah. So now you know exactly what you're getting into. If that paperwork is presented to underwriting ahead of time, a lot of good lenders, strong lenders, aggressive buyers who want to look good to that seller, who might want a quick close versus a 30 to 45 day close, 30 to 45 being the most norm. They can get all that stuff to underwriting, and now you can come in and you can still close in 10 to 14 days, right? Which is awesome. Yeah, we got to get the appraisal moving. And yes, an inspection could slow you down, right? So if you're going to do a 10-day inspection and you want to close in 11 days, that's probably not going to work. But if you want to do a 5-day inspection and close in 14, that could potentially work. If you want to do a 5-day inspection, but you're not going to hold up the appraisal being ordered until the inspection's over, you're going to order it on day one, you could still probably do 10 days, right? What else helps? The seller having a current survey. I believe it's 2 years a survey is good for. So if they've had a survey for any reason in the last 24 months, there's one less box you need to check. It's already checked for you. Now, again, you got to go back to, what is the intent of the seller? Does the seller want to be out of there in 10 to 14 days? Maybe, maybe not. Usually it's 30 to 45, but you never know. Sometimes, especially if it's vacant, especially if they're under financial duress, even if they're not under financial duress, why wouldn't I want to get rid of it 15 days prior? That's half a mortgage payment. If my mortgage payment's $3,000, you just saved me $1,500. So now if my home is $500,000 and you're coming in at $498,500, had to do some tough realtor math there, it's the same as a full price offer to me that would close in 30 days, right? So that is all part of the package that you're presenting to that seller. It could be attractive. Now let's talk about some different things. If you're not through underwriting and you want to close as quickly as possible, and let's assume the seller does also, How quickly can you close now? I've seen it in 3 weeks. I've even seen it sooner. Although usually if it's sooner, if we're doing like 2.5 weeks, I'm usually going to let all parties know, hey, there's a good chance we could ask for an extension on this closing. There's a good chance we could close on time. I need everybody on board with that, right? And you want to get that in writing. Buyer has the option to extend up to X amount of days if lender cannot perform in contractual time. That's not lawyer verbiage. That's my verbiage, right? You get something like that. Now you're protected. Everybody's good. You can go, right? So the goal is let's get it done right away. But if it doesn't, we've got some backup. 3 weeks, though, most good lenders can do it in 3 weeks. If you get a lender that says, hey, I can't do this for 30 days, that's a red flag for me. There are some situations where they've got something really goofy going on with the IRS or whatever it is, and it's going to take some time. We can't close this in 2-3 weeks. I get it. That then pulls that red flag down. The buyer's a little bit more of a red flag, but not the lender. But if you've got a lender and you've given them all the paperwork that they've asked for, they've run your credit, they've got your income, they've got your debt, they've got your taxes, and they're still saying, hey, we can't close any sooner than 30 days. Yeah, that's questionable. The one time a year that I would say, I get it, is if you put a contract in on December 18th and you're trying to close in 14 to 21 days. That can be a little tough. You've got Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's, plus weekends. There's not a lot of working days in there to get stuff done. So that time of the year can be a little bit more challenging. But other than that, there's no reason you can't get that stuff done in 21 days, 25 days, right? A big part too, and I'm getting a little off the topic of the question here, but a big question in that contract is, how many days does the buyer have, really does the lender have, to give loan commitment, right? To come out and say, hey, we are giving you full loan commitment. The loan is yours, buddy. You're getting it. The seller contractually deserves, according to the contract, deserves to know at a certain date that you've got full loan commitment. If you've got a really good lender, and especially if they're aggressive, and as a buyer, you've been aggressive, and you've put that through underwriting before you even got the contract into the seller, you might be able to say, hey, we can do full loan commitment in 10 days, right? Whereas a lot of realtors will put 30. When I see 30, it's normal. It's not a turn off, but it lets me know you're not really aggressive. You're not really gunning for it. You don't have a special buyer. You're not a special realtor. This isn't a special lender, right? And that's not to insult that buyer, lender, or realtor. It's to say that if you've done your due diligence and you've gotten all this stuff in, and you can come in and say, hey, that other offer you're considering, they're going to take 25, 30 days. We're going to take 10. You'll know if we can get the loan or not in 10 days. With them, you're risking a month. Who do you want to ride with? With us, if it falls apart, which it probably won't, look at how aggressive we are. Look at how much work we've done. That already shows our work ethic. But if it does fall apart, it's going to be 10 days. That's what you're out. If theirs falls apart, which they haven't done the due diligence we've done, they haven't put the work in, they're not as proactive in getting their stuff into their lender, right? So the odds of it falling apart are probably higher. It's still pretty low, but it's higher. But if theirs falls apart, you're looking at 25 to 30 days. Ooh, not a fan of that. So you as a buyer can make yourself look a lot better if you can bump that up. Again, get all that paperwork into your lender. Ask your lender, hey, is it possible to get this through underwriting so we can do a 10 to 14-day loan commitment period, right? If you've got a strong, aggressive lender, you might be able to do that. So guys, hopefully that's helpful. If you're looking to do a quick close, just make sure you really communicate that with your buyer's agent, your lender. Title will figure it out, but make sure title knows what's going on. And as long as you've got a good, strong, experienced team that sells houses, you're going to be able to get it done. Guys, thank you for joining me. If you've got questions that you'd like answered in a future episode of You've Got Questions, I've Got Answers, feel free to put it in the comments or send it to me in a private DM on Facebook, and we're happy to do it. Have a great Friday and an even better weekend. Take care.